Announcements, none. Papers have been laid. Questions?
Leader of the Opposition.
My question is addressed to the Honourable Prime Minister. Whether in regard to the islands of Agaléga, he will give a list of the facilities constructed or in the process of construction thereat since year 2019, excluding community projects, indicating the full cost of construction to completion, estimated total cost of maintenance once operational, stating who will bear same, and the number of operational staff required and of which nationality.
Mr. Speaker, sir, for far too long in the past, Agaléga was relegated to the status of poor parent, and even the Outer Islands Development Corporation in the early days did not concentrate on its infrastructural development needs. The runway in Agaléga, which was constructed in the year 1984-1985, was in a very bad condition. The landing and takeoff of the Dornier aircraft became a challenging exercise as it posed serious risks, both for the aircraft and its passengers and crew. With each landing and takeoff of the Dornier, the runway sustained considerable damage, so much so that a decision had to be taken by the National Coast Guard to limit as far as possible flying to Agaléga only for urgent medical evacuation. Some remedial works were carried out in 1989 to resurface the airstrip, but regrettably, the bitumen materials used did not adhere to the surface, and over time, it started to peel off again. Since 2003, several attempts had been made to upgrade the airstrip in Agaléga, but these had not been successful. Access by sea to Agaléga is also severely constrained owing to inadequate infrastructure and facilities. As a consequence, operational difficulties for loading and unloading of goods and embarkation and disembarkation of passengers resulted in delays and huge additional financial costs. In view thereof, and with a view to improving and modernizing air connectivity in Agaléga, it became imperative that a project for the construction of a new runway in Agaléga be implemented. Moreover, the existing jetty in Agaléga also had to be improved for proper and safer embarking and disembarking of passengers and goods. The possibility of the Indian government providing assistance to upgrade the airstrip in Agaléga had been raised with the Indian authorities on several occasions since 2005. It was as far back as March 2014 that the Indian authorities proposed that the government of Mauritius could consider preparing a detailed project report for the infrastructural work in Agaléga and setting up a joint monitoring committee. The Indian side also agreed to consider deputing relevant technical experts as and when required to assist in the preparation of the detailed project report up to the final implementation of the project. In August 2014, 3 Indian technical experts proceeded to Agaléga for the preparation of a comprehensive work plan for the implementation of the projects. Subsequently, both sides finalized a memorandum of understanding, and the then government approved the memorandum of understanding on 31st of October 2014. The MOU was signed during the visit of His Excellency Sri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India to Mauritius in March 2015. A copy of the Memorandum of Understanding was laid on the table of the National Assembly on 31st of March 2015 during the reply made to the private notice question on Agaléga. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to point out again, in no uncertain terms, that the Memorandum of Understanding and the agreement signed between the Government of Mauritius and the Government of India both satisfied the principles of mutual benefit as well as that of being in strict compliance with the sacrosanct principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I have already stated on several occasions in this House, there are two main projects that are currently being implemented in the island of Agaléga, namely the construction of a new airstrip and a jetty. The projects are being executed by Afcons Limited and are being entirely financed by the Government of India. The new runway will be of 3 kilometers in length and 60 meters wide in a north-south orientation parallel to the existing runway. The associated infrastructure will comprise an air traffic control tower, passenger terminal building, aircraft hangar, and runway lighting, amongst others. It will be an all-weather concrete runway with capabilities for day and night operations. As regards the new jetty, it will have a berthing face of 255 meters in length. The jetty will have associated infrastructure for providing services such as freshwater, firefighting, electricity, and crane. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that 88% of civil works related to the new airstrip project have been completed. The remaining civil works are likely to be completed by September 2022. However, the works on associated infrastructure, such as air traffic control tower, passenger terminal building, aircraft hangar, and electrical substation, were severely affected due to lack of mobilization of specialized manpower resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Building works for the associated infrastructure are likely to be completed by January 2023, while communication and air traffic control equipment installation and commissioning are expected to be completed by June 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, in regard to the jetty, I am informed that around 80% of civil works have been completed so far. However, considering the adverse weather conditions in the first quarter of this year and the prevailing harsh sea conditions, the civil works have suffered important delays and are now expected to be completed by December 2022. Works related to the associated infrastructure for the jetty project have also been impacted by shortage of workers and are now due to be completed by April or May 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to Part A of the question, as I stated earlier, the new airstrip and the jetty projects and their associated infrastructure are entirely financed by the Government of India. I am informed that the tendered cost to AFCONs was Indian rupees 1,914 crores, amounting to approximately 8.8 billion Mauritian rupees. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to Part B of the question, I am informed that it is premature at this stage to come up with an estimated total annual cost of maintenance as the project is still at implementation stage. Once implemented, the infrastructure will remain the property of the Republic of Mauritius. However, the costs for maintenance, operation, and functioning will be borne by the Government of Mauritius with the support of the Government of India. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to Part C of the question, it is also premature at this stage to determine the number of operational staff that will be required. However, in regard to staffing, except for scarcity areas necessitating foreign expertise or unavailability of adequately qualified local human resource, the facilities will be manned by Mauritian personnel and will be under the overall control of the Mauritian authorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I have stated on several occasions in this House, the agreement signed with the Government of India on the infrastructural projects in Agaléga is intended only for the implementation of measures to promote, protect, and safeguard our maritime security needs in the following areas, amongst others: surveillance and monitoring of our vast EEZ of 2.3 million square kilometers, counter-piracy, counter-terrorism, counter-narcotics and human trafficking, controlling poaching and illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, provision of hydrographic services, promoting economic development, including blue economy initiatives, emergency response, including search and rescue, marine pollution response, and humanitarian assistance and disaster relief activities. Mr. Speaker, sir, the infrastructural development projects currently underway on the island will also go a long way towards improving the standard of living of our Agalean brothers and sisters, as it will generate significant economic activities on the island. Mr. Speaker, sir, I seize this opportunity to once again gratefully acknowledge the precious support and assistance that the Government of the Republic of India has constantly been extending to Mauritius. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to reiterate what I stated in my reply to the PNQ on 18th of May 2021, that as for Rodrigues, where development has been spearheaded and accelerated every time the MSM has been leading the government, we are putting Agaléga on the path of development and progress with the assistance of India. We want development to reach every single part of our territory, since our people remain at the heart of our development goals. We also stand committed to develop the islands of the Chagos Archipelago once we are able to justice and the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Thank you.
Mr. Prime Minister, let us look at the facts. There was a memorandum of understanding in 2015. This memorandum of understanding includes a confidentiality clause, but nevertheless was tabled in Parliament. This memorandum of understanding was for a project worth 800 million rupees, already highly increased from the original 300 million that Mauritius had planned to spend on connectivity. So we are moved from 800 million rupees in 2015 to nearly 9 billion rupees that he's saying at the old dollar rate, and now with COVID, etc., we're talking about 13 billion rupees or more that the Indian taxpayer is putting in this facility at Agaléga. So the first thing I'm going to ask, since we have an outdated memorandum of understanding, what is the objection now to file all the addendums to this, especially since the then Minister of Foreign Affairs of India has stated publicly that India has no objection to full publicity being given to this project and its implications for national sovereignty of Mauritius. I'm adding the last bit.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are giving full information with regard to the two projects, not only today, but if we look at the number of PNQs, PQs that have been asked in this National Assembly, every time, on each occasion, we have provided all the information that has been requested by the opposition. Apart from that, of course, there have been also public statements made by myself, by members of the government, by other people who are in one way or the other concerned with this project. And therefore, we have been operating in full transparency, giving all the details. Now, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is saying, why is it that the agreement is not being made public? Again, there are some agreements that are made public because the two parties have to agree on making it and rendering it public. There are some agreements whereby the two parties agree that it will not be made public. This is one of them, and this is not the first time that this is happening. We have had in the past, I think if the Honourable Leader of the Opposition will recall, he has been a member of a Labour PMSD government in which there are certain occasions where agreements have been signed with a foreign country, and in this very House, numerous questions have been asked about this agreement. I don't want to mention any agreement in particular, but systematically the answer has been that there is a confidentiality clause in the agreement, and therefore it cannot be made public and not even to be tabled in this House. But I'm not saying that what is right now for you when you were in government is wrong now. Why should we go according to the same principle? And that is why this is not made public.
I'd like to remind the Prime Minister that the Indian Minister of Foreign Affairs stated in Mauritius that the Republic of India has no objection to all this being made public. Then, given that has been made publicly, what is the objection of the Republic of Mauritius to making this public?
Mr. Speaker, sir, first of all, I am not aware of this statement that the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is referring. Of course, I will check, because I'm not aware of this statement. I will check and I will find out. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, I will not comment on something which I'm not aware of. But what I will say is what I am aware of. I have discussed with India on this issue, and both countries have agreed that there is a confidentiality clause in the agreement, and therefore it is not going to be made public. That is what I can say, and I maintain what I'm saying. I've discussed with India. I've discussed with the Prime Minister of India. I hope you don't doubt my word.
Your word. I doubt every word that you say. I doubt every word that you say. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the Honourable Minister and Prime Minister this question. India, the Indian taxpayer, is going to spend 24 billion Indian rupees on Agaléga. And this is why we need to know the cost. Because the more you spend, the more you want in return. That is why this taxpayer and the Republic of Mauritius have a right to know the cost of the facility that a foreign country is putting on our territory. And what are the counterparty that are being given to this, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he doesn't doubt his word. Is he going to make us believe that we're spending 14 billion rupees, Mauritian rupees, just to stop illegal fishing? To stop what? Human trafficking? What is it again? Drug smuggling? That we're spending, we can't even build a fishing port in Mauritius. We're going to spend 14 billion rupees of grant money, I grant you that. On this, does he honestly believe that this is the project and it is to improve the lives of Agaléans when half of North Island has now been taken by this, not a jetty, it is a full-scale port like the Mauritius Container Terminal, but small, a bit smaller, and it is not an airstrip, it is a 3-kilometer runway with quarters. You don't mention quarters for staff, you don't mention all the other facilities that are there, and the 2 huge hangars, the aircraft hangars that are built, and I have the pictures here, if you doubt my word, which I hope you will not.
Speaker, sir, let us see what has been our experience with regard to the development of Rodrigues. The airstrip that has been built has served us for a long time. And because of major developments in Rodrigues, there is an urgent need to have a new airstrip in order to accommodate bigger aircrafts, much bigger aircraft than the ATR-72, I think, right? Now, my government, we started discussing with financial international institutions, with the European Union, in order to see how we can get their support in order to implement this new project. That is to lengthen the airstrip. And I don't want to go into the detail of Rodrigue, because this question is about Agaléga, but just to say the experience that we are encountering. I don't know, I don't know how many billion of rupees we are for, maybe not for, more than that. No, for more than 4 billion rupees. I can tell you, more than 4 billion rupees.
Don't discuss about this.
Well, he is not agreeing. So, anyway, but even 4 billion rupees just to lengthen the airstrip of Rodrigues in order to accommodate new aircrafts, the landing of new aircrafts. And this is not yet already, let's say, concluded, because we are still discussing, and by the time that the project... You want to answer the question yourself? I am answering. Did I interrupt you when you were putting your question? But Mr. Speaker, sir, am I...
Let the Prime Minister reply.
Can I be allowed to answer the question without any interruption? Yes. If I can, then I'll continue. So Mr. Speaker, sir, that is why I say now we have a vision. We have a vision for Agaléga. The vision is not the vision, of course, it is very different from the vision of the Labour PMSD former government.
This is not in order. Please, this is not in order. This is not in order.
The vision, they have a short-term vision. We have a long-term vision, a very long-term vision. And that is why instead of repairing the airstrip or constructing an airstrip which is going to accommodate, well, Dornier or ATR 72 and the likes, we have agreed with India that we build an airstrip that will, in fact, in the future, accommodate planes like B737-900, Airbus 321, just like for Rodrigues, what we want to do. Now, this is what we call future planning, because we want to develop Agaléga. Agaléga will be developed, you will just wait and see. And instead, Mr. Speaker, sir,
Order.
the financing of this project is being given free from government of India. Instead of being grateful to India, look what kind of comments we are having. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I heard the Honorable Leader of the Opposition saying, yeah, I'm answering to your question. You put two questions in one. Let me answer. Let me answer, though. You talked about contrepartie. You talked about contrepartie. Let me answer. Yeah. So
You don't have the floor.
So, Honorable Leader of the Opposition is saying, well, India is financing it for so much, and there must be a contrepartie. Let me give another example. The biggest infrastructural land transport project that we have, the Metro Express. And I must say, thanks to the government of India for the network from Port Louis to QPIP. They have given us half of the money as grant money. Half money, free. The opposition have been criticizing against this project initially. But now they see what the people think when they started to travel and so on. Now they are cooling down, Mr. Speaker, sir. So probably the leader of the opposition will say, what is the contrepartie? Because they are giving us grant money to implement this project. Well, you will see. In the future, you will see the contrepartie. You will bear the contrepartie so that I'm sure you will not be able to even talk about the contrepartie.
Mr. Speaker, you will note that I have only asked 2 supplementary questions so far. Now, the counterparty for the Metro Express, maybe the Prime Minister was not there, is the double taxation agreement, my friend. You should know that. That is the counterparty. This is why I'm asking you. You've just confirmed my point. What is the counterparty? Now I'm going to ask the Prime Minister. These are 2 huge aircraft hangars. Huge. Able to take the biggest civil or military planes. 2. You did not put that in your answer. 2. What are these hangars going to be used for? Because they are only in Mauritius, 1.3 million people. There are smaller hangars than this. Look in your notes.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that actually what is being built is 1 hangar and 1 shelter for parking of the likes of Boeing 737-900 and Airbus 321 type of aircraft. This is my information. The passenger terminal that is being built also, of course, will be able to accommodate and service I'm told, about 50 passenger capacity.
We're not fools. Boeing 737 that the Prime Minister is mentioning is in fact a Poseidon P-81, which is the same as a Boeing 737. It's an anti-submarine warfare aircraft. It carries missiles. And that is the Boeing 737 that is going to be parked under these hangars. It belongs to the Indian Army, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
I can say shame.
You don't have the floor.
I can say shame.
You don't have the floor.
Shame is parliamentary.
You don't have the floor. Either you accept my ruling or you walk out from the chamber.
I don't have a
Thank you very much. Please, Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, I will continue. So this is for B737, P-81 aircraft. You can read the international press if you don't know what your civil servants are telling you. Why are these tunnels being built under the jetty? Why? Would you want to have a jetty? Big jetty, huh? Maybe as big as this room. And you have tunnels under the jetty. For what? What do you have to hide that is going to be unloaded from the ships that you would have, or you'll tell me you don't know either. What are these tunnels for? And go and check whether there will not be in 6 months' time Indian Army B737 Poseidon aircraft and Indian troops. And I'm not saying it is right or it is wrong. I'm not saying it is right or it is wrong. But I'm saying that in the name of sovereignty of this parliament and sovereignty of our nation, the Prime Minister has no right at all to hide this sort of information from the public from the inhabitants of Agaléga and from the inhabitants of Mauritius. You have no right, Prime Minister. We are a sovereign parliament and we're a sovereign country, and you, in 6 months' time, we will know, as you say, exactly. And you want us to believe that it is what? Air Mauritius is going to put the few aircraft that it has there?
Well, after the show of the Leader of the Opposition, he has the right to use his time for making a cinema and making a show, and saying that we are building now a parking for submarine. This is what I understood, a parking for submarine, anti-submarine, whatever it is at the jetty. But Boeing, at the jetty there's going to be Boeing now. Okay. Well, you never know, Mr. Speaker, sir. With the advance of technology, maybe in the future there can be such kind of equipment. But I'm informed that the development, that is the construction that is being done at the jetty, it is a duct for jetty services. There is no tunnel. There's no, I don't know what he's been mentioning because he's been using some technical terms about to house a submarine or whatever it is. Nothing of that sort. And services are services like electrification, I'm told. But anyway, I've never been made aware of any such kind of construction for such submarine and so on, Mr. Speaker. Sir.
Nobody mentioned submarine.
Time is over by 3 minutes. The table has been advised that PQ B938, 940, 944, and 945 have been withdrawn. Prime Minister's question time. Honorable Denou.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Can the Honorable Prime Minister be to 925, whether in regards to...
Order. No comments.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that no complaint has been filed by Dr. Navin Chandra Ramgoolam, former Prime Minister, or any other person for that matter, concerning the alleged claim for commission in connection with his medical evacuation to India in September last. Therefore, the question of initiating an inquiry by the police does not arise. Mr. Speaker, sir, since the former Prime Minister has, during a press conference held on the 8th of July 2022, made allegations about commissions being claimed on his medical evacuation to India, I would like to remind the House of the chronology of events leading to his medical evacuation in order to set the records straight. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I stated in my reply to parliamentary question B/713 and parliamentary question B/722 on 5th of July 2022, a request for financial assistance was made on the 6th of September 2021 by Mr. Daneshwar Damri for and on behalf of Dr. Navin Chandra Ramgoolam, former Prime Minister and the Labour Party, for the government to make an advance to meet the cost of an urgent medical evacuation of Dr. Ramgoolam to Delhi by a medical air ambulance. Mr. Damri also informed that the services of a local company, the Kalua Holding Limited, had been secured for the hiring of a medical air ambulance for the airlifting of Dr. Ramgoolam from Mauritius to Delhi. Mr. Speaker, sir, in view of the fact that the patient is a former Prime Minister and was reportedly in critical conditions, I had personally ensured that the request was dealt with promptly and diligently. In fact, contrary to what Dr. Ramgoolam has stated at his press conference, I never phoned him personally while he was admitted at Welkin Hospital. It is in fact his wife who phoned me seeking government assistance, as the Labour Party members had so far failed.
Order! Order! What is this? Order! Order! This is not... This is... Please! Please! Order! 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 Order, please! Order! Order! Order, please! If you don't accept to be in order, then you have to walk out from the chamber. Okay. Last warning. Order.
So let me repeat again, because maybe with the noise, some members could not have heard me properly.
Point of order, sir. Point of order. The Honourable Prime Minister is taking this really sadistic pleasure of referring to a third party. Let me finish. I haven't finished.
Wait. I am on my feet, wait. Number one, sadistic or whatever, you withdraw that word, and then put your point of order.
The point of order is I withdraw the word sadistic that he was attempting to do. I withdraw it, since you ruled. So now my point of order is that it is against standing orders to make reference to any person who is not a member of this House. And that is what he is doing, against standing orders. Because he is not entitled, according to standing orders, to make reference to anything that happened outside this House when it concerns someone who is not a member of this House. And on top of it, the wife of a former Prime Minister that he cheaply hides behind.
You made your point of order. You made your point of order. So now you are out of order. You are, please, out of order. Order, both sides of the House. Order. Oh, please, withdraw from the House. Withdraw from the House. Oh, then I am naming you. I am naming you. I am naming you. You have no right to stand here. You have no right to stand here. Please, Sergeant Gatal. Sergeant Gatal. Sergeant Gatal, you have no right to stand here. Sergeant Gatal, do your work. Sergeant Gatal, do your work. Sergeant Gatal, do your work. your work, Sergeant at Arms. Do your work, Sergeant at Arms. I am naming you. I am naming you. MP Ganga Prasad. You're being named. You're being named.
So,
Order.
Mr.
J'ai entendu l'honorable Nakchedi traiter l'honorable Mainganga Passat de Bachara. Je demande qu'il retire ses propos.
Honorable Nakshidi, if this is true, then withdraw the words.
Mr. Speaker, I never said that word.
Order. 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 I will read you. I will read you. Order. Order, Honorable Kiran. Honorable Nakshedi, once again, if you have said it...
No, I didn't say Bachara, I said Clune.
Then... Wait. Honorable Bhagwan, Honorable Nakshedi, I will review the transcript, and if ever you have said so, you will have to apologize and withdraw it. Now, continue.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I was saying, in fact, contrary to what Dr. Ramgoolam has stated at his press conference, I never phoned him personally while he was admitted at Welkin Hospital. It is, in fact, his wife who phoned me, seeking...
Oh, there is nothing wrong in that. This is a precision. Please, please. The Prime Minister has the floor. Leave him to give his reply. No. The Prime Minister has the floor. Leave him to give. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Continue, please.
I need...
I have already said you are absent-minded. I said. No. Come on. What are you talking about? The Prime Minister is making the precision that he did not call the former Prime Minister. It was, in fact, the wife of the former Prime Minister that called him to offer assistance. And there is nothing wrong. There is nothing out of standing order here. I maintain it. It is in order. I maintain it. And this is my ruling. Order. Order. You don't have the floor. You don't have the floor there. You're obstructing the proceeding of the House. Dr. Umia and Honorable Juman, please, either you keep quiet or you walk out. You keep quiet. You keep quiet. You keep quiet. Honorable Umia and Honorable Juman, either you keep quiet on this issue or you walk out from the chamber. Now, you continue.
Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I was saying that I never phoned him personally, Dr. Ramgoolam, while he was admitted at Welkin Hospital. It is, in fact, his wife who phoned me seeking government assistance as the Labour Party members had so far failed to organize the urgent medical evacuation of Dr. Ramgoolam.
So, order both sides of the House. Order both sides of the House. There has been a question put. There should be a reply, and let the Prime Minister reply.
So, I was saying that she sought the assistance of the government as the Labour Party members had so far failed to organize the urgent medical evacuation of Dr. Rangula. Mr. Speaker, sir, thereafter, I personally called at Welkin Hospital to take stock of the situation, and I even had a meeting with the medical team in the presence of certain prominent members of the Labour Party, namely Honorable Asia Vaden, Honorable Boulel, Honorable Omir. You were there.
You wait. I am on my feet. I am on my feet. Oh, I am on my feet. So I am ordering you out. I am ordering you out. Honorable Patrick Savadan, I am ordering you out. I am ordering you out. Sergeant at arms. Sergeant at arms. Sergeant at arms, I am ordering him. No.